Jesus speaks about hidden motives, pride, avarice, greed, and the Middle East. June 6, 2018. Words from Jesus to Sister Clare, spoken by Jackie. Clare began, "Thank you, Lord, for not giving up on us, but being there by our sides as we go from glory to glory, learning your ways and conforming our lives to your perfect will. Amen." Well, just an update, dear ones. The Lord is so serious about keeping us on the straight and narrow that at times we are bound to fall. Listening very carefully is so important. But sometimes He doesn't tell us when we are stepping into a trap, because He wants to draw out the deeper motives of our hearts and reveal them to us. As you know, Ezekiel is growing stronger every day and excited about what the Lord is doing. Just after his healing, the Lord said He would leave a little bit for offering in times of international distress and need. And last night he was called into service again for President Donald Trump, President Assad, Israel, North Korea, and of course Kim. But there are usually two aspects to a suffering. One is a door we opened, and the other is a dire need for intercession. And we did open a door. Actually, I've been seeking the Lord for 3 days on what door we might have opened, because symptoms started popping up that told me that something was going on. And over the years, we've noticed very consistently the Lord sometimes reveals things to us at the time when intercession is needed for the world. So we may be skipping along merrily thinking everything is fine, and all of a sudden the door gets opened. We get backlash, and then we seek Him on how in the world did I open this door? But at the same time, whatever we are suffering in that moment is being used to forestall the situation and make it less dangerous, or to disarm it altogether. And sometimes that happens when we are praying for someone who is very sick, and the Lord wants to deliver them of that sickness. You know, as intercessors, we just never know what it is the Lord is asking us to give ourselves for. In preparing for a new recording season, we were missing a couple of instruments, or so we thought, to fill out what we needed. We went to the Lord about it, and from the readings everything was a green light and joyful. Well, then the first instrument arrived. Ezekiel was attacked before he got out of bed that day. And when another one arrived the next day, the same thing happened. And finally, when the last one arrived, which was an inexpensive bass guitar, he was not in any way indulging himself, you know. These were things he really needed, he felt, for production. But then a big door was opened on the third day, and the pain and torment demons piled right in. For 2 days we could not imagine what in the world this was about. One of our prayer partners got pride, but we didn't equate it with avarice, because we felt we had permission. But this is what I noticed. He was really enjoying listening to other musicians and just generally getting caught up on new techniques, etc. It troubled me when I saw that a lot of time was being used that way, and I longed for the day when he would just sit down with his guitar and play from the heart. because those are his most powerful songs. I could see the focus was shifting, and I prayed that it would be revealed to him. I prayed that carefully, because what if it was the Lord allowing him to listen to different artists? Presumption can truly ruin a marriage, especially if you think you are the super spiritual one and your husband is just lagging or lacking altogether. We've been around that mountain in the wilderness a few times, until the Lord convicted me of pride and presumption. It's a delicate balance, ladies. You see, our husbands, whether they are converted or not, many times have wisdom from above nonetheless, so we don't ever want to presume that God is not leading them. Well, to make a long story short, finally, on the fourth day, I knew a door had been opened, because he got very sick, so I sought the Lord earnestly to find out what it was, and we discovered it was avarice. Wow! I really thought we were acting within God's will. Ouch! Poor Ezekiel. He repented immediately and was so crestfallen that he had hurt the Lord, not to mention that the equipment had to go back. The refund would go to a ministry in need, but the other half of this suffering is for the life of President Trump, for our nation and world peace, praying for all the major players. So I would ask you all to please pray for these men and situations, and also pray for Ezekiel as he recovers from this. So in the stillness of the night I went to the Lord, and he began to speak. Jesus began, "Tell him he's forgiven. Please, please, be ever so careful, Clare." "I'm sorry, Lord, I could have been his failsafe if I had realized." "That's true, but you wanted him to have good things, just like any wife would supply for her husband. But you must go deeper in your discernment and not let your decisions be made by shallow thinking." Go deeper, Clare, go deeper. Whenever you get a warning rhema, pay attention. Pay very close attention. There are so many subtle shades of sin, and neither one of you are used to going that deep. He did give me a warning rhema that was pretty pointed, and it really disturbed me when I got it, but for the life of me I couldn't figure out who it was about, and this is what it said. In the primitive church, pastors and prelates were poor men, burning with charity, not greed. Wow! I got that probably about 2 days ago, and I thought, what is this about? He must be trying to warn me of something, and I just didn't have a clue. As I said, whenever you get a warning rhema, pay attention. And that, guys, was from my box of like, oh, it's probably 1,500 cards by now. When I say deeper, I mean deeper, Franciscan deeper. What he means by that is to make do with only the essentials. Nothing more. Oh Lord, I don't have the strength and love it takes to go that deep right now. Will you please help me? That's why we are talking now, my love. Oh, I want to put an end to these attacks. So badly do I want them to end. Although, as you have observed, 50% is also for an offering, and always comes at an opportune time. Jesus, I am so sorry. I was blind just as much by pride and avarice as he was. And yet your intentions towards him and towards me were honorable. That is why I tell you to never ever judge the motives of anyone. Only I know why they did something. Even the seemingly most detestable of men, those who promote the New World Order's thoughts on how to live, they are in essence just applying their intellects to cause life to be better on earth. They see it as a big improvement, an end to poverty and exploitation. However, they are using poverty and exploitation to put something together that will never stand. Iron and clay will never stand. And there he's referring to Nebuchadnezzar's statue, which we are in the end times, the feet of that statue. They have been raised to believe in a better world, using the tools of their intellect, but without me. They see religion as the problem, which indeed it can be, but they do not see me as the solution. So you see, if you were to examine their motives, you would find honorable ideas. What they do not acknowledge is the fallen state of sin that man is in, which means greed and exploitation will always be used to steal from the weak. I'm coming to liberate man from this system of slavery that those from the great halls of learning have consigned them to, where every man, woman, and child has an opportunity to be fulfilled in their destiny. These people fear vision and freedom because it cannot be forced into their game plan. Therefore, they will deal harshly with and eliminate the dissenters. But back to your situation, my love. Be ever so careful, Clare. The heart of man has much wickedness that is not seen for what it is. From childhood, little ones are taught avarice, greed, and pride, and it goes so deep in a man or woman that deep plowing and even sometimes dynamite is needed to dislodge it and bring it to the surface to be dealt with. And I know that's your heart, that you want these faults dealt with, and that's why I continue to work with you on this level. You are both forgiven, and you're wiser now. Move ahead in joy, for I'm with you. And by the way, I love the song we are working on. Thank you for your mercy, Lord. Please give Ezekiel some relief. It will come when my ends have been accomplished and secured. Be patient, Clare. He truly is carrying the world in his inward parts. For the time being, this is his work. Oh, that's hard. Precious dwellers in my heart, all of you have good and bad, right and wrong set before you each day. If you have offered your bodies as a living sacrifice, there will be times when I require that of you. Please cleave to me tightly, and know that I suffer with you, and will remove the season from you as quickly as possible. When you see the Middle East heating up, you know deep intercession is needed. You can pray to be relieved of pain, or you can pray for the Middle East, and I will relieve the pain. But it is there to remind you that this world is a lit fuse, ready to explode at any moment. and you are the bucket of water. We are in a war, and you are in the front lines. Fear nothing, I'm with you.